Hey, welcome. We're going to be working on a yoga flow, but I'm really going to workshop some of the poses to get them, to get the fine tuning, to get the real good, luscious details out of them, and hopefully awaken some deeper understandings of these poses, the whys and the hows as well. Let's start in a comfortable seated position. Start to build the breath. I go into more detail about the why and the how of this on my previous video from this month. You can look it up, and we'll be really focusing on the breath, the bandhas, and what this does to everything. In this practice, we'll also be setting an intention, thinking very clearly about the outcomes that we want in our life, the direction of our life, our goals, our aspirations, our meaning. What do we have this body for? Why are we occupying this space? Why breathe at all? It's this yoga practice is a time for us to spend inward and really do that soul searching that otherwise might be overlooked or forgotten about. And all the while, we're going to be reducing stress, the physical manifestation of stress in both lactic acid and soreness, and also just some more clarity to keep us from just falling back into our regular patterns, to create new pathways in our mind, to create dreams and really refine what our dreams look like, to see the future that we want, to see the outcomes that we want, to give us some direction to life. And all the answers are within. So this is not too hard for anyone to do. It's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. So we'll start comfortably seated. Sit up tall. Relax your shoulders. Find your seat. Find your spine. Let your eyes come comfortably closed. And start to build the breath right away. Follow the breath in through the nose, down the spine to the bottom of the belly. Breathe out thoroughly, smoothly, reaching up through the crown of the head, finding more height. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out long. Every inhale, find more expanse into the belly. Every exhale, find more length in the spine, and more exhale, noticing that we let go of tension. Try to smooth out the ends of the inhale and the exhale to create a smooth transition from inhale to exhale, like it's one continuous breath. And add in that breath with sound, that Ujjayi pranayama. As the belly is expanding, don't be afraid to expand up into the rib cage, up into the mid-chest, and up the upper chest by the throat as well. Really feel the full expansion of your lungs. Feel your lungs expanding in every direction. No shallow breathing here. We are using our breath as our medicine, and our breath is that thing that we can keep coming back to whenever our mind wanders. Every breath is a perfect opportunity to start again new. Don't be judgmental of yourself. Understand that your mind will wander, but your job is simply to bring it back again and again. Deep breaths here. Check in on the bandhas, these internal locks. The mula bandha, or the pelvic floor, we pull up and in on the soft tissue of the bottom, the pelvic floor. Pull all the way in until you can't pull in anymore. Notice what that does to your low back. Pull in on the belly button. Draw in as deeply as you can, like you're sucking everything in and up underneath your rib cage. Notice what that does to the base of your spine and your lumbar spine, that low back arch. And keep breathing deeply. A slight tuck of the chin will reveal length in where the top of the spine meets the skull. And any tension that you're holding in your neck, in your throat, in your shoulders, continue letting the shoulders melt away from the ears. Deep breaths. Any time that your bandhas feel exhausted, take breaks. You can even pump the bandhas and move the bandhas in coordination with the breath. Just be aware that these internal locks are bringing you a great deal of information, a great deal of play, not necessarily control of your internal insides, your deepest insides, but also where you surrender, where you relax, where you let go. So it's this give and take, this yin and yang, this ha and ta. And this is going to go on throughout the entire practice, the breath and the bandhas. I'm going to keep bringing you back there, and notice how every different shape, every different pose that we take, those breath and bandhas just teach you even more. Let's make our way to a tabletop position. Shoulders stack over wrists, hips stack over knees, and just spread the fingers wide. Press them actively into the mat. Keep that breath full and rich. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Really engage. Feel what that does to your low back, what it does to your pelvis. Keep breathing in and start swaying just organically in the hips. Notice what's there. Deep breaths. Bandhas lift. Feel how different the bandhas feel when you pull in on your belly button and pull in on your pelvic floor. Tuck your chin. How all of that is awakening stuff deep within. This deep internal massage. We'll take some cat-cow breaths. On your inhale, drop your belly, lift your tailbone, lift your chin, roll your shoulders out. On your exhale, round to the spine, tuck the tailbone, pull in on the belly button, tuck the chin, roll the shoulders in. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Inhale to cow. Exhale the cat. Now just feel how much is going on. Take any organic movements. You can sway in the hips. You can roll your head around. Oh. Notice those creaks and those cracks and those hisses and snaps. All of this is as we awaken and remove blockages and remove stress. The actual physical manifestation of stress in which we embody and hold on to. We're just letting it go here. We're going to do a bandhas exercise here. So inhale back to a neutral spine. Exhale here. On your inhale, we're going to take a huge cow pose. Really open the heart. And on your exhale, breathe out through the mouth. Breathe out everything. Take cow pose. Hold in the bandhas and lock them and hold your breath. And just move your body back to cow pose without breathing in. Now inhale. Take a couple breaths to break. Notice you're trying to create this big suction in the middle of the belly by locking in the Mula Bandha and the Uddiyana Bandha. So all this is tucking in very deeply when we hold that breath. So we're going to inhale deeply to a cow pose. Thorough exhale, everything out. Lock the bandhas. And move back to cow pose, holding your breath. Now breathe in. Take a couple of just regular cat-cows. Notice what that shifting has done. Notice how to use these locks. This is like this vacuum seal that really pulls everything in, this vortex that moves stuff out of the way. Bring big toes to touch, knees wide on the mat. Send the hips back, walk the hands forward, extended child's pose. Press the hands actively into the mat. Pull the ground back towards you, engaging those shoulders. Feel a stretch in the armpits. Feel a stretch across the front of the chest and in the shoulders. Now lift those bandhas. Continue breathing deeply, but notice how the Mula Bandha here is very challenging to lift. What does that do to the low back? What does that do to your internal organs? What kind of thoughts and feelings come up? Memories come up? Does it make you notice how maybe weak or ignored these muscle groups may be? That is all okay, because awareness of these muscle groups is the practice. The more aware you become, the more you become more strong and capable and connected to these roots. And through these roots, you'll really tap into the core of your power. Your true core isn't your abs. It's not your six-pack. Your core starts way down at the perineum, that pelvic floor, and connects in a perfect ladder or a perfect lattice or braid. When you work all of these muscles together, you'll start to tap into a much deeper connection. This is extended child's pose. Make sure you come back to this pose anytime you feel the need to take a break, to ground down, to remember just the breath and bandhas. It's not all about doing all the poses, and of course you can always pause the video too. That's the beauty of videos. I'm just not used to teaching videos, so I forget that. Pause the video often, take breaks, honor your body. Remember, it's just about the breath and the bandhas. All the poses are just extra. On your next inhale, come up to a tabletop. And we're going to press back to a downward facing dog. So make sure your hands are shoulder width distance apart. That might be a little wider than you're thinking, but if you look at your shoulders, look at your arms, they're just coming straight down. They're not coming at an angle inward or outward. Flip the toes under, send the hips back. Tuck the chin, point the crown of the head toward the mat. You're going to want to be very active through the fingertips here. Squeeze your hands so actively into the ground that there is little to no weight in your wrists. You want your forearms very engaged. You want your hands very engaged. We want to externally rotate the shoulders, so meaning the points of the elbows roll outward and downward. So the points of your elbows are pointing more toward the ground. Your shoulders are very engaged. Tuck the chin, send the heart back toward the thighs. You want to point the crown of your head toward the mat. You can pedal out your legs here. This might feel very challenging already. Now focus on the bandhas. Pull in on the bottom. Pull in on the belly button. And see what that does to the stretch. On your next inhale, look to the top of the mat. Step your feet behind your wrists and fold forward for ragdoll pose. Capture the opposite elbows with your hands. And sway from side to side. Deep breaths, use that belly expanding. Find a stretch up by your heart, around your shoulder blades. Let go of any tension. We'll release both hands to the mat. Plant the left hand, send the right hand high for a gentle twist. Bend in the left knee, straighten in the right. Look up toward the upper hand. Lift in on the bandhas. Reach through the crown of the head. And feel what those bandhas do here when you breathe deep into your belly. In this twisted spine. Long from the tailbone out through the crown of the head. Maybe pump the bandhas. See what kind of massage you can give yourself. On your exhale, release the right hand to the mat. Inhale the left hand high. Gaze up toward the upper hand. Bend in the right knee, straighten in the left. Draw in on the bandhas. Any awakening you feel in your body, really follow it, embrace it, and surrender everything that doesn't serve you. Release both hands to the mat. Heel toe the feet together and slowly rise to stand. Shoulders and head are the last to come up. And bring hands to heart center. It's a very important grounding practice here. Press your palms together. Press the fingerprints together. Bring the elbows high enough so that the forearms are parallel to the floor. Pick up all 10 toes, really ground your feet down. Feel the roots growing out from your feet deep into the earth. Pull up on your kneecaps, firm your thighs, tuck your tailbone. Draw in on your belly button, draw down on your shoulders, draw up through the crown of the head. This pose of symmetry, this pose of gratitude is a great place for us to check in on our intention. Knowing that this practice is more than just a physical exercise, it is an active practice of improving your relationship with yourself. Now, what that means is you have a lot of controls over your body, and you have a lot of limitations over your body. Included in that are your emotions. Now, to a certain degree, we can control our emotions, and to a certain degree, we can't. But with practice, we learn to understand how we do have a better relationship with our emotions. So creating the emotions we want versus just reacting to the situations and reacting in an unconscious, routine, emotional way. So we're going to set an intention. For here, let's just find gratitude for a moment. Grateful that our bodies are our bodies. No matter what our insecurities or criticisms of our own body are, let's just pause and say, you know what, I'm sure glad that I got you, body. You are a good body and you get me where I need to go. So this gratitude, we have our limbs, we have our capacities, we have our senses, we have our safety, we have our basic needs met. All of these things are blessings to be grateful for. Now, thinking of all these blessings is one thing. Thoughts are the language of the mind. But can you feel grateful? Close your eyes, feel into your body, and just see if you can locate that feeling of gratitude. Where does it reside in your body? Is it in your belly? Is it in your heart, your shoulders, or your cheeks, or your eyebrows? Where do you feel grateful that you have this body, that you have your basic needs met, that you have opportunity, maybe people that care about you, maybe your relative health, anything at all? Can you think and feel grateful? Let's use our breath to distribute that feeling around our body. And just as importantly, notice in your body that the places that don't feel grateful, that don't feel that way, because this is where we're going to work on. This is where we're going to release that blockage, where we're going to release that disconnect and find our way back to a full, whole body connection to the source, to the self, to the deep, glowing light that is within us. A couple more breaths here. An intention is simply projecting ourselves into the future that we want. What is important to us? What are the goals we'd like to accomplish? What is the purpose we'd like to fulfill while we're on this earth and in this time? Can we see our finish line, whatever that may mean? Maybe it's love, maybe it's health, maybe it's existing without worry. Maybe it's physical or material wealth. Maybe it is respect from others. Whatever it is that you find as your intention, go with it. And understand that the more you explore these areas of what you want, you get a better relationship with the true self within you, this emerging self, where everything you need is already in there. It's just about removing the stuff for us to finally remember our true nature. Exhale the breath from your lungs. And inhale, we're going to sweep arms high. It's called Tadasana Urdhva Hastasana. Reach through the crown of the head, roll the shoulders slightly forward, tuck the tailbone, pull in on the belly button, active through the fingertips. On your next exhale, we'll take a side bend to the right, tuck the tailbone, maybe open your chest toward the ceiling, maybe gaze up toward the upper hands, draw in on the belly button, breathe into the left side body. Thorough exhale. Inhale back to center. Exhale, side bend to the left, tuck the tailbone, draw in on the bandhas, open the chest, breathe into that right side body. Notice how those breath and the bandhas allow for lengthening, for awareness, for massage on the internal body. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, back bend, let the arms go to cactus arms. Let the chest shine forward and up. Draw in on the belly button. Protect the low back. Lift the chin high. Big breaths. Thorough exhale. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, forward fold. Lead with the heart. Tuck the chin. We'll remain here in a couple breaths to recognize this long spinal stretch and what happens when you lift the bandhas. See how deeply you can pull in and what that does to your internal locks. Can you create a suction here? Can you tuck the chin? Can you see what gives? With every breath, we find a little bit more space. Maybe you're all the way up here. That's fine. Maybe your hands don't touch the ground. That's fine. We don't ever want to stretch past what's comfortable. We want to stay within our comfort zone, but be aware of where we can't go any further. That's where you breathe. That's where you transform. That's where you use the bandhas. And you'll notice one breath at a time, you're going to make your way a little deeper. And once again, this practice is about patience. It's not about jumping too far, hurting yourself. You want to just be kind to your body. Go easy on yourself. On your next inhale, flat back or halfway lift, this is called. A slight bend in the knees allows for activation of the thighs. So you roll your knees towards each other with a slight bend of the knees. Hands can either come to the shins or the knees, but you want your back long and flat. Maybe your hands are on the ground. Tuck the chin, draw in on the bandhas, deep reach through the crown of the head, lift the bandhas. And on your exhale, step back to a high plank. Or just lower yourself down onto your belly for a low cobra. Untuck the toes so the tops of your feet are on the mat. Inhale, lift the chest, tuck the chin, draw the elbows back towards each other. Breathe into the belly, reach through the crown of the head. Find much engagement in the low back. Really press those feet in, really scoop those hips forward. And breathe deeply. Lift the bandhas. See what that does to your low back. Couple more breaths here. One more inhale. And press back to extended child's pose. Knees wide on the mat. Toes, big toes to touch. Walk your hands forward. And rock your hips a little bit to let go of any tension in the low back. See if you can traction the hands into the mat and pull the ground so you can lengthen the spine and breathe length into that spine. There's always so much here to find. Good. On your next inhale, come up. We'll press back to a downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths. Remember the bandhas. Lift the bandhas in. Roll the shoulders out. On your inhale, look to the top of the mat. Exhale, you can step your feet, walk them all the way up. Inhale, come up to a halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold, tuck the chin. Inhale, sweep arms high, Tadasana. Exhale, hands to heart center. Now this will be a flow. So we're going to use one breath, one movement. And you can do this several times in a row. Just replay this part of the video to get your heat up. Exhale the breath from the lungs. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, back bend. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back to a high plank and lower down. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, down dog. Take 3 to 5 breaths here. Keep on sending the heart back. Keep on lifting the bandhas, rolling the shoulders out. Big breaths. Bandhas lift. Inhale, look to the top of the mat. Exhale, step or float your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep arms high. Exhale, hands to heart center. Remember your intention. Feel free to repeat that series. It's a modified sun salutation A. It's great for the health. It's great for building heat. It's great for using as you develop your practice. This could just be the beginning of a practice and you go on and do another deeper expression of more poses. But sun salutations is a perfect series at any time. Do it frequently. I don't recommend right after you eat. You should probably wait a good hour after you eat before participating in all of this breath work and bandhas work and the different poses and whatnot. But you should end every practice with a shavasana, corpse pose, where you relax at least 3 to 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do here is make our way to corpse pose. Just lay flat on your back, uncross your limbs. And relax. Notice when your mind wanders and simply try to bring your awareness back again and again to this moment. Fill your mind with your body and your body with your mind. Any thoughts of the past or future, just let them go. Any narration of the right now, just let it go. And really tap into connecting to those rhythms of the body, those movements of the inner body that exist within your stillness of the outer body. Begin wiggling your fingers and toes. Be amazed at the miraculous nature of your body. Infinite connections that create an awareness of itself. Your thoughts directly control your internal state by creating your chemical reality. Your emotions are simply chemical concoctions. The way that you think affects both your emotions and your physical state. So when you have time to yourself, understand how to use these physical practices paired with the practice of emoting or creating the emotions which you desire. Gratitude, purpose, and embody those things in the here and now. Because the here and now is the only place and time in which you are creating your reality. Take a long body stretch. Breathe deep into the belly, a couple full capacity breaths. Hug the knees into the chest, squeeze yourself in tightly. Roll down onto your right or left side. Feel new. New is simply a perception that is possible to be tapped into at any time. At all times you are new. Every breath is a perfect opportunity to start again new on your path toward your intention. Return to a seated position. Bring your hands to heart center. Return your mind to your intention. Return your heart to gratitude. On your inhale, raise thumbs to third eye center. The light in me recognizes the light in you. Namaste.